Good morning to you. My name is Lilian Ngoyi Street. My colleague Sakina Kamwendo is out and about this morning. She's in the Johannesburg CBD and she's looking at the stretch of Lilian Ngoyi Street that has been closed now for over a year following that gas explosion. In fact, let's check in with her right now. Sakina, over to you. Good morning. All right, well, it doesn't look like Sakina is able to hear us at the moment, but you can see that's where she's situated, and that's where the majority of our crossings will go to this morning to try and figure out what is going on at Lilian Ngoyi. So let me just try one last time, see if she's able to give us that little quick briefing. Sakina, let me try once again. Let me hand it to you. Good morning.
Well, very good morning to you from the Johannesburg Central Business District, and of course coming to you from a rather somber space which literally belies the activity around it. And this is of course Lilian Ngoyi Street, the part of it that was part of the explosion that took place more than a year ago on the 19th of July 2023. Well, as you can see behind me, a big hole and a construction site of note, but not much seems to have been done beyond that. And we were told, of course, by the City of Johannesburg that this would be a two-phase project to the tune of 196 million rand, including contingencies. And to date, we are told that just over 17 million of that has been spent. But of course, the questions that we will be asking, among others, would be on what exactly, apart from the big hole filled with dirt and water. And we'll find out from the MMC for transport in the City of Johannesburg, Kenny Kunene, a little later on. But of course, this disruption has also affected local residents and businesses. And I'm joined right now by Stephen Duprier, who is, of course, the founder of Local Abode, representing some of the property owners in the CBD. Stephen, thanks so much for stopping by. So it's been more than a year. So how has this particular event that took place on the 19th of July 2023 affected business in the CBD?
It hasn't helped business in any way, shape or form. We have noticed that there's been an increase, for instance, in arrear rentals from some of the tenants who now, particularly on the retail side, who can't trade like they used to. Because remember, most people here built their businesses around the taxis moving, the high volume of people moving. Take that away and the businesses start to struggle. So we are seeing a big increase in vacancies in terms of the retail tenants, and then the residential tenants also. Generally speaking, Bree Street ran at about an 8 to 9% vacancy rate. We're seeing now 15 to 20, maybe even sometimes 25% vacancy. So it's tough on business at the moment.
And how are the businesses coping? Because I would imagine if someone has a lease, that lease still has to be honored, or have there been arrangements among the businesses in the CBD and business owners to try and mitigate that?
So for the most part, the property owners have met with their tenants, particularly the big retailers. They've done some recessions in terms of their leasing, reduced their rentals, helped them in that. The problem is we're seeing some of the landlords up to 9 million rand in arrear rentals that they're trying to recover. They're also dealing with the insurance companies to see if there aren't policies that can be paid out to cover some of their arrears. But to keep the tenants, many of the property owners are reducing rentals or giving rental holidays just to try and keep the business here while waiting for it to reopen.
Stephen, as far as developments around the reconstruction project behind us is concerned, have you been kept abreast of developments by the City of Johannesburg?
We have been. When the disaster happened, we were called in as the property owners on that very night. We met with a team from the city, and we've been kept up to date with all the progress, even in terms of the redesign. They have worked very closely with the property owners and some of the tenants to say, well, it's your space. How do you want to see it? We don't want to dictate to you from the hill. We want to understand what you guys want, and that's what's led us to what Lilian Ngoyi will look like once done.
And speaking of once done, what has been the news as far as you have been told regarding the project that's currently underway? We were told that phase 1 was set to be completed in December of this year, 2024. Now that's no longer feasible. So what do you know as far as this is concerned?
We've been advised that the original contractor who was appointed didn't meet the requirements in terms of the time frames. So the city had to do some SLA management, put them on terms, then cancel their contract. Had to then, in terms of the MFMA, go out and find a new contractor, which they've now apparently appointed. They're just waiting for the Department of Labour to issue them the permits so they can then take control of the site again.
And just in terms of the deadlines, were you told exactly when this project is set to be completed? Because I would imagine that would be of interest to you and, of course, the other property owners around here.
So we have been told it will be the first half of 2025. This section will be completed, at least the phase 1, so the crossroads can open, and then another 12 months thereafter for phase 2 to be completed.
You said the first half?
First half of 2025.
So the first half. And with regard to phase 1, did they state that in phases, or are you just told, no completion date in its entirety for when the street would be open?
All we know is phase 2 will take 12 months from the completion of phase 1. So once phase 1 is completed, we know it'll be another year for phase 2. But when phase 1 is completed, vehicles will be able to drive here, people will be able to walk on the sidewalks. You can use the cross streets. It then becomes an urban issue. So then it's the beautification, trees, plants, more pavements, wider pavements, dustbins, those sorts of things come into phase 2. So after phase 1, it'll be pretty much almost be back to normal, save for the upgrades that will be coming.
And speaking of those upgrades, we were told that there would be fewer lanes in Lilian Ngoyi Street, as you said, wider pavements, among other things. So did you have any input into that? And are you satisfied with the plans that are being put on the table regarding this upgrade?
There was lots of back and forth when the project came to light, but the engagement between the city and private stakeholders has been rather remarkable. They've definitely consulted us. They've wanted to know what our inputs are, what we like. There were several iterations of the plan that came out, and there's been backwards and forwards to get it resolved. And for what is going to be here, everyone is very, very excited.
So very excited. You're not fazed by the delays in the project. You good. You've been consulted and you're happy with how things are progressing.
The delay is never helpful, as I say. Happy is an interesting concept in the city, but for the most part, we think that the progress is being made. It could be faster, always. It could be quicker, but we also understand, like with any construction project, there's always delays. There's always something. It rains for 3 weeks and the site goes on hold. You're going to be delayed. So we hope that the city will have better oversight now with the new contractor to keep them to their timeframes, and that by the first half of 2025, where we're standing now, we'll have cars driving over it.
Well, and that is, of course, Stephen Dupree, who is the founder of Local Abode, representing property owners here in the CBD. And as he says, they have been extensively consulted. They've been kept abreast of the developments. The delays, of course, are never helpful, but of course we just had something fall there behind us, but all the same, all's well, everybody is okay or accounted for. And the property owners are basically saying that they know they are being kept abreast of what is happening, and there are delays, and they will, of course, be happy once everything is up and running and business can resume as normal. And they've been told that that would be sometime during the first half of 2025. As to the exact date, we don't know, but of course we've got the MMC for transport here in the city of Johannesburg, Kenny Kunene, and right behind our video journalist, he is here. He's already arrived, so of course we'll get into the details, the nitty-gritties of this project with him. And that is coming to you here from Lilian Ngoyi Street. And as you can see, the rains, lots of water in what used to be the street, and of course pipes and things moving across as well. We'll find out exactly what is going on here, what has been done so far to actually make sure that 19 million has been spent so far.